driving to the gas station right now, just slowing down for a red light, and you might be able to notice that I'm on empty. I'm on empty with both of my tanks, and the gas station is just up ahead. I'm hoping that I make it. I meant to get gas yesterday, but forgot. Let's hope that we make it. Made it. It's a little close. Okay. Good boy. Thank you, Roberta. This thing is indestructible, and Hank loves it. Come on! Okay, that should be everything. Okay. What is the deal with these floor tiles? If you remember, weeks ago, I started processing these long fir timbers into 300 or so floor tiles here, meant to be the flooring for my bedroom. I still need to make about 500 more to cover the whole surface, but we decided to put that on hold because of the way that these are drying. Some of them are cracking quite badly. This one broke into all fours. We expected the top ones to crack badly, as they are all the moisture is escaping through the end grain rather than the long grain like the rest of them under here. We have them stacked like this so that they are compressing everything to stay nice and flat, and they are flat, but almost all of them, actually I think all of them, here's one that I did some staining on to see if I like the stain, but all of them have these big cracks in them. Some of them worse than others, but they all got the big crack in there. So we're going to put this flooring idea on hold until we can figure out a better way to process this, or we'll just decide to use these tiles for something else, maybe outside or somewhere else, maybe for a feature wall, maybe, I don't know exactly. So let's put this on hold. We are going to focus on a different floor today. And that floor is the one over here in our walk-in closet. So I've just moved everything out into the bedroom, which is still in boxes, and it's still in boxes because we have no closet space to put anything. There's no shelves or nothing. Before we can put in the shelves and stuff, we got to focus on the floor here. So this closet actually is used to be my, this is a weird place to squat. This used to be part of our bathroom, and this hole right here used to be where the shower used to be. So we've moved the shower from here to over there to make the bathroom, to be able to shrink it a little bit. We've done some other stuff in the bathroom, like we moved the toilet from that wall to here so we could actually have a place to put toilet paper, because before the toilet paper could only be on here or be way in the way. Anyway, it's a lot better like this, including for space, because that used to be the only closet space, which used to only be a little bifold access right here. And I mean, this used to literally be the only closet in the whole house. This was the only storage in the entire house. So having all this bigger space here is great. Now, let's actually make it functional. We are going to use some reclaimed shiplap as flooring. So it takes some processing, but step one, acclimation to the environment, done. I got this whole stack of wood from... Now here's a massive bummer. So in my videos, sometimes I film things week in advance in anticipation of making the storytelling of the vlog super fun to watch, if you will. My goal is that even if you're not interested in what I'm doing, perhaps you'll still like the way I do my videos. Anyways, I filmed a clip at the place where I got this weeks ago, and it turns out that I've accidentally deleted it. It was so clever. Anyways, I got this from my friend Alex. He bought the contents of a hoarder house, and this was there, and I filmed me picking it up with my brother Dakota, and it was going to be awesome. And sometimes I think of things way ahead of time for the edit in these videos, and sometimes they pay off, and then sometimes they get deleted. All right, let's go finish processing this. so. Got everything dry fit in here. Now this wood was never processed to be a flooring until I did it. It is not like a tongue and groove sort of style. It's not a click together. It is just a shiplap that has been processed to be able to expand and contract in this sort of application to the best of my knowledge. My favorite piece. I wish I had more that had the bandsaw marks on them, or whatever saw it is that cut this wood. So I have to figure out, how do I want to fasten this? I was thinking about gluing and nailing it right into the joists, which run perpendicular, so that's perfect. The thing about glue is not going to allow it to move very much, and wood moves quite a bit. Now this wood, if we look at a stamp, still have a couple here. SPF stands for spruce pine fir, so this is just a mixture of those that are grown together and now grown together to be lumber. This here, SGRN, stands for surface green. And that means that it is unseasoned but has been dried, as far as I remember. But it hasn't been kiln dried, so there's still a decent amount of moisture in it. However, this wood has been sitting for years, at least since the 70s. Judging by all the other stuff that was piled on top of it in the basement that I got it from. Bummer that I lost that clip. Anyway, this stamp tells me that it was left with moisture in it, which allows the wood to, as it loses moisture, to shrink and twist and possibly do all sorts of other things that we don't want it to do. However, we probably don't have to worry about that by now, because I've acclimated it in here in my house, and it's been sitting in that basement for years and years and years. It's probably about as dry and stabilized as it's going to get. Now the reason why I'm thinking glue might be an issue is that glue is stronger than wood, and when this does gain more moisture just from its environment and stuff, it will want to move, and the glue will stop it from moving too much. And that's bad, because if it can't move, it's going to crack, because it needs to go somewhere. However, if I don't glue it, it's going to be very creaky. And if it's creaky, I may as well just keep it floating like this, because this is a way less annoying sound. I think we're going to glue it. Didn't number these, so I'll have to just take them up and stack them in order so that I don't lose the spot where they go and get confused. Here's my favorite board again. So one thing I did do for movement, because they move more so width-wise than length-wise, is I cut everything a little shy so it's not tight up against the wall. You don't want anything to be tight, because again, if it has nowhere to go, it's going to do something. It's going to buckle, or something's going to happen that you don't want. Another thing I did is on the bottom here, I cut in all these relief cuts to stop it from cupping, which is also a bummer. You don't want cupping. I have to take them off one by one so that I don't stack them in the wrong order, because they fit perfect like this. Then I'll glue them down one by one. And then after that, I will snap a line in here. Here's one joist. You can see by this butt joint here where these two pieces of subfloor meet. And then the next piece of subfloor, of course, is staggered. But if we, right here, there's another butt joint, which carries on beyond this wall into the hallway. And then in the bedroom, there should be another one. Actually, It's right here. That's actually really close. Usually it's about 2 joists apart. At least that's what we did when we were building houses. In these old houses, the joists are 16 inches apart. Yeah, so that's a little close, but it should still be okay. In modern houses, they are, I don't know what the measurement is. They're diamond, so 19 and 3/16 heavy, and then you would go to the next diamond to place your next. I think they're called TJIs. Stands for truss joist. I don't know what the I stands for. I think maybe it stands for like I-beam or something, because it kind of looks like an I. It's like a piece of lumber, then a piece of OSB, and then another piece of lumber on the bottom. That's what modern houses have. But my house, since it's old, it just has fir 2x10s, which are still used today in some applications, but most houses have the TJIs or JTIs. I forget what they're called exactly. But anyway, if I didn't have these butt joints here to reference, what I could do is just find the screws or nails in my floor here. In my house, it's a little, well, in this room, right here is one. They're kind of hard to see because this used to have lino in here. You can see by these comb marks, so they're kind of buried. There's another nail, so they use nails for mine. Nowadays you would use glue and screws, which they probably did glue this down because there's no squeaks anywhere. But anyway, I'd find the nails and go all the way across, and then what I'll do is mark the wall here. Here's, I got a rusty nail there. I'll probably screw some stuff into here to, because these rusty nails, that's no good. I would hate to make sure that my flooring doesn't squeak and then the subfloor decides to squeak all on its own. There's some more nails there. Okay, so I got a line there, a line here, and then a line right there. And then the next line will be in this closet right here. I can see there's a nail there, and hopefully there's another nail nearby. Usually you want to nail them about every 8 inches, or screw them. Nowadays you would screw them every 8 inches, but it looks like it's missing some here, or I just can't see it, but it should be right about here. I'm guesstimating. I'll have to double check to be sure. That would suck if I was nailing in the wrong spot. And of course the next one is beyond the wall, so I will mark the line over there when I'm ready. All right, well, all of those went in there nice and solid, so everything's still holding really good. I think what the issue was with the rusty nail here is that this was a shower pan. I remember when taking this wall off and the drywall off of this wall initially, it was super moldy back there, so there was obviously a leaking issue. Back when this house was first built, this actually used to be 2 bathrooms. We found evidence of that when we demoed this whole area here. There was mold everywhere. It was disgusting, but at least it didn't affect any of the wood. The only wood damage here is intentional, and that's where they cut for the drain here. They actually cut through one of the joists, which is very weird that they did that. They could have gone right beside it. I'm not sure why they did that. But anyway, the house is still standing after how many years? 40 years? 50 years? I don't know years. I don't know how to do math in years. I don't know how to do year maths. But everything is screwed down, including in here where I wasn't sure where it was. I was off by about ½ an inch, and then I screwed it in here as well where there wasn't any nails or screws. And I'm just using regular wood screws here. I don't have any floor screws with me in the house, so these will work. Now, it's time to PL all of those down so I can show you what I meant when I first started talking about snapping a line. Alright, there we go. Quick and easy. There was only one way that each board could go down. and they went in just as they came out. Super simple. Now, what I gotta do is just nail them, and the type of nail that I'm using is a ring shank nail. Now these ones, they have like a bunch of rings. I don't know really know. They can't get pulled out very easily. I was going to use the spirally nails, but my brother Ken suggested these. He said these are harder to pull out than the spirally ones. So let's give it a shot. All I got to do before I nail it is chalk a line here. The board should stay relatively in place. If it's not perfect, that will be okay. There we go. And I just got to do that about 5 more times. Like so. I don't want to lily-dally. That's not even a word. I don't want to lollygag. Pretty sure that's not a word either. For too long, because underneath here, that PL is going to be setting here really quick. So I'm going to try to nail everything as quickly as possible. Pry bar in case I need to move stuff, and hopefully everything goes to gold star. Okay, done, except for that piece. Because now that I've sucked everything tight, or as tight as I could, with the nail bar and a flat bar, we have way too much gappage here. So the baseboard's definitely not going to cover that. So I have to cut a new piece and place that in. Magic of editing. It'll be done in seconds. So that gap there, that should be able to be covered by the baseboard, I think. If not, I'll put another little strip in there that'll cut off of this piece here that used to be there. So that was cut to size when I had dry fit everything, and now we have a piece that I guess I didn't have to cut to any size. I may actually have to add to it, but we'll see when we continue on. And we're back, and the floor is looking as I left it. It's actually been a few days. If you watch the unplanned vlogs, you get why. And I guess I just want to say thank you to everyone who's offered up their condolences and stuff about my favorite chicken, Sonny, passing away. That was a real bummer. So yeah, we lost the chicken. If you didn't watch those videos, we lost the chicken. Which to a lot of people that's not a big deal, but to us she was a pet, much like a dog, and so that's kind of that was a bummer. But that's the part of life, I guess the very last part of life, depending on how you look at it. But thank you everyone. And then for those who don't get it, saying that she's just a chicken, yeah, we understand that not everyone is going to have the same feeling. Like that's that whole thing, don't name your farm animals, and we get why you wouldn't want to do that. Makes it harder to let them go and stuff like that. We understand that you need to eat and all that jazz, but for us, our chickens were more than just a food source. We only eat their eggs. We don't eat them. It probably wouldn't have been wise to eat her anyway because she was medicated, but that's besides the point. We just want to say thank you to everyone for those comments and stuff. That was nice. Yeah, this kind of stuff makes me awkward. So let's get back to this floor here. But first, a quick disclaimer. I think it's important to add and include that just because we don't eat our chickens, we don't think there's anything wrong with you eating your chickens or any meat. We eat meat, including chickens. What we do think is important is sourcing ethically raised meat if you can, because Like in my culture as a Cree person, it is very important that you respect the animals that you eat. And even if it wasn't, I think that's just a good way to live, because if an animal is your source of life, I think that it's worth more than considering it a piece of meat on your plate, if you will. I probably said that kind of not very eloquently, but I hope you understand what I'm saying. So we don't care if you're like straight up T-Rex and only eat meat, or if you're vegan and you don't eat any meat. It doesn't matter. We don't care what you eat. It's just we decide not to eat our animals, which is our point, and we don't see anything wrong with eating your animals or whatever. If we did decide to eat our animals, I don't know. It's whatever, you know? We don't think there's anything wrong with that either. We just choose not to. Okay, this is getting like confusing, and like if I start mentioning like hunting and stuff, that opens another whole can of worms, even though I think that's the most ethically sourced meat you can get. Just know that we're not judging anyone. Okay, let's get back to this floor. The next step is to sand the floor. So I got a belt sander here and a random orbiting sander here. I don't own like a floor sander, but these should do. This is kind of more of a rustic floor, so it doesn't have to be exactly perfect. It just has to be a little bit smoother than, well, actually that's already pretty smooth. Damn, I'm good. What I did, if you remember, actually I can probably show you from this angle here, is I planed off some of this so that these would sit a little more flush, and I think that's worked out good. And here you can see there's an expansion space there. Yeah, but a little sanding will be good to make it look a little nice, get a little bit of the grime off of there. And since I surface nailed all of these, and the reason why I surface nailed them is, one, I like the way it looks, but also this is a shiplap and not a tongue and groove, so it has to be nailed on both sides so it doesn't lift on one side, because there's nothing to stop it like a tongue and groove system would work. But anyway, I have to be sure not to sand too much of the nail head off, so what I may have to do is pound them down as I sand, depending on how much something has to be sanded. Now all I gotta do is close the doors like so, and of course I don't have a door here yet, so let me just stand right here so the edit will work. Instead of a door, we're going to put some plastic, because it would suck if we got all of this dust out into there, you know, because dust sucks. Turn on a light, plug in the power, and as Tim Allen would say, oh, more power. Done. This is why I have the plastic up. That is very dusty. I imagine it's really dusty up there. Crazy. Look at all the dust around the lights. I don't know how much that shows up. That is dusty. Okay, we got to sweep up, which might take a minute because there's so much freaking dust. I'm glad I put up this plastic here. The reason why they call it carpenter glitter, because it gets absolutely everywhere. There we go. All clean. It's all laid down. It's all sanded. I made sure to keep some of the character in the wood. I didn't sand everything out because I like the look of you know, kind of a beat up floor. To a certain degree anyway. And this is a soft wood, so it will get beat up over time, and it will get some more of that character, some more of that patina, if you will. I don't know if patina is the right word. It'll get some more marring to it and scarring, and I think that looks good. Now, since this wasn't milled to be a flooring material, and I'm only so strong and the wood only moves so much, there is some gappage between some of the planks here, which was expected, so that will need to be filled. which just adds more character. The look we're going for definitely allows some of that. If we wanted it to be super tight, we wouldn't have gone with this material, because this was initially meant to be shiplap siding. But I actually love the way that it looks, and it was all in all pretty simple product to work with. Now they do make softwood flooring out of cedar or fir. Probably the most popular is fir, but then also poplar. Oh, I could have made a pun. The most popular is fir. Anyway, poplar is technically a hardwood, but it's really soft. And then another common one would be a hard pine, and then also like hemlock, which is like a nice hard soft wood, which I believe is what this wood is. I think earlier in this video I said that these were fir, but I'm more certain that these are hemlock, although I'm not certain, because I'm not very good at species identification. But anyway, this is just a lower grade of some of those things, but I don't mind that at all. I think that this turned out fantastic for the type of style that we're kind of going for, which is a mix of styles anyway. We also have like the exposed nails, which adds character, and that's not for everyone, but that's okay because we like it, and we probably wouldn't do that in the whole house. We actually don't plan on doing it out there. We're actually going to buy some reprocessed wood that has been reclaimed into some hardwood flooring for the rest of the house. In the bedroom, we're not sure what we're going to do yet. Stay tuned for another vlog for all of that stuff. But these nails were probably the most frustrating part about this job, because, man, these stupid things. I wanted a ring shank nail, which I did get, but I couldn't find any that were this long that didn't also have these stupid red washers on them, which wasn't a huge deal. It's just, I had to do that about 200 times. But it was worth it, because now everything's down, and the picture in my mind is coming to be here. Now the next thing on the list for this closet here is, if we decide to stain this, what color should we stain it? I
don't like that you do that. The new Batman's so rated R.
Yeah, but that's
It's true.
You go around town beating up people after it.
You almost got it. Keep going, and one more time. So, 1 second. Your lead is too long. So get in there nice and tight. And try to keep that wire nice and short. Go ahead. There you go. Kind of. And then just make sure you touch both pieces of the metal that you want to fuse together. Okay, go ahead. Hell yeah! Dude, that's good.